Here is the TraSto circuit and code video for my Intro to Engineering project. The TraSto bot featured emergency lights, two DC motors, ultrasonic sensor, breadboard, Arduino board, and transceiver antenna. Transceiver is simulated here with an IR sensor, an IR remote. LEDs simulate the emergency lights. DC motors move and steer, and ultrasonic sensor detects debris in front, and then the code that makes it all work. I had to go back to the drawing board literally when writing the program because the circuit is rather simple, but the complexity comes in with the software behind it. So it relies on a grid pattern search. The robot starts at 0, 0. So it's a 6x6 grid. So it has a small grid inside of a big one. The big grid is essentially just the perimeter. So it's where it starts and it's where it'll end and come back to the beginning. So it starts at 0, 0. It'll move to 1, 1. Well, first it'll scan and it'll see if there's any debris in the way. If there's any debris, it won't deploy at all. If everything is fine, it'll move to 1, 1, and then it'll start traversing the grid in a snake-like pattern. Each node is a representative of like 4 feet, so every movement burst is 4 feet. It'll stop at a node, it'll scan. If nothing is in the way, it'll move to the next node. If something is in the way, it'll turn north and then move along the grid pattern in whatever direction it was going to go if it had done the entire loop. Because then it'll block this off as like bad. And so it really doesn't even matter if it does this one because this whole quadrant is bad. So it'll just return here and then it'll start the next row. It'll end up here and then it'll come back to the beginning. At the end, it'll return whether or not any of the red lights can be turned to green lights to facilitate movement into the intersection for EMS services. So for the simulation, like I said, the code will not let it go if there's anything in the front, so let it start. So we'll say damaged, boom, debris. So it'll move up to the next row, which is along the y-axis. So it's doing its little turning bit. So it's at the end, so it should start to turn. So again, at the end, it started to turn, and it'll do row 4. And it's coming back now. So we're moving along the x-axis towards the beginning. So now it's turning again because it's done. So it returned the values. So we had one bad sector. And it's returning to home base. So it's making a left turn, moving forward, and then it stops. So now it's send the data to Cameron to deploy the next bot in the swarm. Real quick, the code. I found that it helped immensely to make functions out of like the things that I wanted my robot to like, well, movements and things like that. But once I got the functions, going, then I just plopped them in and that made a lot of the repetition super easy. But that's it.